Good morning and happy Halloween, or Samhain is actually what's happening right now. It's a time, as we've been talking about all week, the celebration of Samhain is when we honor our ancestors. We call upon them because this is a time when the veil is the thinnest for the next 24 hours, the veil between the spirit world and our physical world. Perhaps many of you have been feeling presences around you, or because your intent is on honoring and thinking about your loved ones and ancestors, you bring their energy into your space. So we're going to, with our messages of spirit today, of course, we are going to also be asking for that to come through. And I hope I get some messages for specifically for some of you. I'd like to read this little blessing here before we begin. Unfortunately, I don't know the author of it, uh, but I do think it's very nice. This is a blessing to those who have gone before. I call to the ancestors who lived and died before I took breath, to all the mothers and fathers who created me. Walk with me tonight. I call to the ancestors who lived and died in my lifetime, my beloved dead, my family, my friends, those who made me laugh and shared in my tears, who shared this journey with me, visit with me again. My breath is your breath, my bones are yours. We are all relations. I drink water for you, I take in food for you. Together we light the beacon. Together we stand in the doorway. We call to the recently dead. We offer your names to the air. We offer your prayer names in prayer. All of my ancestors, all of my relations wait to greet you. Safest passage to each of you. You are loved. You are remembered. Be at peace. So a little blessing there too for those who have just passed. They go with our love and healing. All right, so to put in the mood of Halloween, as we always think of witches, I also want to put out a special remembrance to all of the people, especially women, because that's majority who were targeted, that were killed across the world, not just at Salem, who died accused of witchcraft. And most of the time it was a means of manipulation, of misunderstanding a lot of it. The first ones to be executed were the midwives. They were trying to ease the pain of women in childbirth. So it was obviously a target. Women were the target of this. And it wasn't until 2018 that the laws in Canada changed. Witchcraft was actually on there as being something illegal. So a lot of people, self included, when you were doing readings, you had to advertise them for recreational purposes. Otherwise, you could be charged if someone wanted to. Now, mind you, I don't think, well, I think the last witch in Canada, that charge against someone was in, I think it was 1909. I have to look that up again. So it did happen here too. I do not think we did the burning at the stake, but there were charges. All right. Now, obviously, I cannot read with this veil on, so up it goes. So we'll start out the same here today, where I'm going to draw the three cards, and you choose card number 1, 2, or 3. And then following that, I'm going to say what the message is. And if I get any other messages coming through, I certainly will pass them on to you as well. So take a moment just to take a deep breath in and ground yourself. If you have a candle you want to light, lighting candles is a signal to the universe that we want their entities into our space. We're welcoming it here. In churches, we light candles as a signal to the angels that we are ready to begin our worship. Okay, here we go. Card number 1. Card number 2. And card number 3. Now, before I go through these, okay, well, card number 1. Sorry, I have things coming in my head. Card number 2 and card number 3. I have an elderly, presenting himself to me as an elderly gentleman. And just so any of you who don't know, when I do readings, I have things come through more as symbolic and they'll show me things that have meaning. I rarely get a name. I don't even try to do the name because I don't, my own not trusting that I have the correct name. This gentleman is coming through as someone who has passed over the last, I'm going to say 6 months, but I think it's even closer, maybe just the end of summer to now. He's showing himself bent over. He's wearing, he liked when he wore shirts, he likes one that liked to keep them buttoned up and maybe the top button opened on his shirt, but he liked to wear a shirt and the color blue was a good color for him. He's showing himself walking with a cane, and which can represent a couple of things to me. It can be that it's just a symbol for quite an old man, which I do feel he was quite an elderly man. And the number 90 keeps coming into mind. So when he passed, he might have been late 80s, early 90s. He's kind of in that area. And he was living alone at the time, and he just wants his family to know that he's at peace. And I feel as though his wife passed prior to his passing, and he is very happy to be reunited with her. The time that he spent alone after her death was difficult for him, but he appreciated the visits and calls from his family that helped him. But he just wants you to know that he has found peace and now he's walking upright. So perhaps he did have some arthritis or some kind of pain and through his neck, shoulders, back area that made his mobility kind of difficult for him. So that is a message that's going out. I hope someone who, well, I trust that someone who watches this will recognize who that is. And I'll keep doing this throughout our messages here if I have something come through for someone. Okay, card number 1. You got the mother, and she is talking about expectations or expectation. So for those who got card number 1, remember the mother is about creating and nurturing, and she's reminding you that you manifest in your world what it is that you think about. So what is it you expect to get? Don't keep your expectations too low. Sometimes we may have the habit of thinking, well, I'm not going to expect too much in that way. If it doesn't come through, I won't be disappointed. She's telling you not to do that this time. This is the time now you put it out there, what it is you want. Be clear about what it is that you want, because you do have the ability to bring positivity, to manifest those things you want into your life. But you have to start in your own mind, visualizing what it is you want and feel that you are deserving of that. To some of you, I feel as though it's sort of relationship geared in that you're making adjustments, that you're maybe not happy with the way things are going. This is a time to not just sit there and stew about it. Decide how it is you want things to go. What is it you're expecting from this relationship, whether it's with work or in family, if you're a couple? If you don't know yourself, it's very hard to talk about it. And putting all the blame over on the other party isn't fair either, because they don't know there's a problem. So this is a time to create clearly in your mind's eye what it is you want to manifest, what it is you desire, so that you know what your expectation is, and then work towards that. Card number 2 is the Maiden today, and hers is about inventive. So sometimes we have to change how we do things. We have to be inventive with how we go about things. It doesn't mean just because you maybe come to a stumbling block, or maybe you feel like you've just completely, the door shut in front of you, things were going along well, and then all of a sudden you can't seem to make things happen anymore, or it's just slowed right down. Stop and think about it. Is this still your goal? It seems the readings today are all about goals. Is this still the path that you really truly want to take? Maybe it's time to change how you're going about it. Sometimes you have to be a little creative. You have to sometimes sitting back and waiting for a little longer. There might be someone who's coming along to help you, isn't as far along the path yet as you are, and that's okay. Gives you that time to again see how you want things to go, and to see if there's a better way for you to make things happen for yourself. Card number 3 is also the Mother. I'm surprised with it being Halloween, we didn't get some crones in here. And she's saying abundance. Well, aren't you the lucky one? Abundance is coming your way this week. Well, abundance, remember as well, comes in all forms. It could just find an extra bit of change in the laundry before you go to do it. But you're going to see that 2 or 3 times. It could also be, I feel that there are some of you that have been working through some finances and finally they're being settled. So that mortgage you've applied for will finally come through. That investment is now making some money for you. But abundance is also more than just money. It's that feeling of having what you need. It's that abundance of love and friendship. And those sorts of things really totally outweigh the finances. We worry about the money when we really should be focusing on the relationships, on the family, on the partners, on loving ourselves. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food in your belly? Do you have clothes on your back? You're watching me right now, you have internet. These are things of abundance as well. And throughout this week, really be grateful for those things. But you are going to have some more come into your life. So it could come in the form of hearing from an old friend you haven't heard from for a while, taking that time to go have a coffee or tea. But also, like I said, universe has a bit of humor, and I see that there's some of you are going to be finding loose change around. All right. So what does this mean when we put them all together? Remember, our first card was about expectations, then we had inventive, and then we have abundance. So this clearly means to me, and this would apply to all 3 cards really, is be clear on what your expectations are. What is it that you desire and wish to manifest in your life at this moment in time? Have a clear vision of that. Then be open to ways to achieve it, because you need to be inventive. Nothing is really impossible. You just may have to go a non-traditional way to get there. Sometimes it's things like if you want to take a course, you want to do some training. Maybe you're used to always doing things in person. Maybe this is the time to look online. Maybe you've always wanted to be in a group setting or think you have to be. Maybe now's the time that you do a home study. And there's just different things, and that's just an example. But there are ways to reach your goals if you're open to see them. Because the 3rd card is abundance. So you're going to achieve what it is you desire. and it'll exceed what your expectations even were. So overall, I think that's a wonderful reading to go into the next week with. And now is the time during Samhain to ask for the guidance of our ancestors. And maybe it's meant to be now so that we can reflect on, well, what did they do? How did it work for them? Doesn't mean you have to do it exactly the same, but we learn from the lessons of those who have gone before us. I'm just going to take a moment. I have two women coming through. They're sisters. One has recently joined the other. Well, I say recently, but I take that back. These two sisters were not only close with one another, but they were close to you, whoever is this message is for. It's almost like your aunt was like a second mom. They're around you a lot. One of them didn't really like Halloween. I'm not sure which one. But now that they're in spirit, they understand. It's almost like one would really be into let's get all dressed up and everything, whether she did or not, but she would be more for that, where the other one was, I feel it was almost she, for religious reasons, didn't really approve. Never stopped you as a child from taking part in it. And I apologize, I can't quite get the message that they have coming through. The mother, who would be your mother, saying, don't be afraid to have fun. Maybe she was the one that didn't do the things, I'm not sure. But she's telling you to lighten up a little bit. Now is the time to have some fun, whether it's with your own family or with friends, but just be careful that you don't get into a rut where you're staying in too much. Do things that bring you joy. You deserve it. You've been through some things, and now is the time for you to focus on you. I thank her for that message. There's a man coming through, and he passed away within the last 5 years, probably in his late 50s, maybe 60 at the most. And I'm sorry to say he took his own life, but he wants his family to know that he is at peace. It wasn't to do with them. Don't blame yourself for any of it. Carry on with your life. You deserve a good life. He said we're both where we need to be at this moment in time. Thank you for coming through. It's difficult. I'm going to leave it at that because of our time. But I encourage you today to just sit quietly, take a few deep breaths, light your candle, and just give thanks for the people in your life. I believe we all travel this road for a reason. We meet people that we're meant to. Some take the journey with us all our life, all of their life. Sometimes it's only for a brief meeting, but take and honor each one of those people that have been in your life. I hope you have a beautiful day. Be safe, be kind. Namaste.